Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to be showing you how I apply my rulers to my canvas blockhead. And I'm just showing you here, I have a 22-inch circumference, so the wig that I'm making for my client is going to be a 22-inch. I'm also going to show you how I use those rulers to help me transfer my client's measurements to the blockhead as well. So here I have two measuring tapes. You're going to need two measuring tapes, or you can use just one. It's up to you. And the first thing I'm going to do is measure from the bottom of the canvas blockhead to where my first measurement is going to begin. So it's going to be 9 inches. You can see that's 9 inches. So my first measurement is going to start right there. That's where all my wigs will start. So the next measurement that I'm going to do is going to be that front to back. So I'm putting my ruler where my measurements start. I'm just pinning that in. And you see that line in the middle of your canvas blockhead? You're going to go straight down that line. That is the center of the head. And I'm going to block this off at 14. Normally, my medium customers with a 22-inch circumference are usually between 13 and 14 inches. So I'm going to bring that down to 14. And I'm going to pin that down. I'm going to use some tape. My wig stand kept falling. This thing would not stay up. My screw became loose and I couldn't tighten it again. So you're going to see this thing falling and falling until eventually I do change it to my other wig stand. Okay, so the next measurement that I'm doing is the nape area since I'm already back here. And I'm going to do 5 inches. I was trying to decide if I wanted to do 5 or 5.5. I think some of my other medium heads are 5.5, but I decided to just go with the 5. So I'm going to fold that in half to find the center. I'm going to pin it right in the middle on that line. That's where the center is going to be. You always want to be symmetrical when it comes to these things. Everything has to be even on both sides. And I'm just going to tape that down. I'm going to start to remove those T-pins and just replace it with tape. Okay, that's how we're looking so far. So the next thing that I'm going to do is the temple to temple. I'm going to open up the other measuring tape and start from 1. So I'm just removing a little metal piece in the front. I did that on the other one as well. You don't need that. And when I'm dealing with medium blockheads, I do 16 inches. Normally my clients are between 15 and 16 inches. So I know I don't need to go past that. So I'm going to pin it in the middle, of course. You want to do half of 16. I'm going to pin that down at the 8. And I'm going to pin it down at the 16. Because that's where I'm going to cut it off. And I'm just going to try to line everything up and just make sure it's even on both sides. Just going to move my pin back a little bit so I can cut that at the 16. I'm just trying to line it up. It was so hard to do it this way because I'm sitting down and I'm taking my time to make sure that everything is lined up and, you know, sitting properly. So that next measurement that I'm going to do is going to be right across the front there. I like to use this measurement. It just makes it easy for me to just line my closures down. I'm making it 5 inches because normally I work with 5x5 closures. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to pin it right in the center where the half mark is. And I'm going to do that a 1/2 inch. So you're going to see me using a T-pin just to make a little marking. And I'm going to pin it a 1/2 inch from where my wig starts, because I always pull my closures a 1/2 inch past the cap. And this is going to just show me exactly where it is. I just pull it down there. It just makes it easy. And I'm going to fix some things here and just make sure that everything is just lining up properly. Just go in and just make sure everything is lining up properly. You're going to see my temple to temple measurement is a little off on one side, it's a little up, but I did go in and fix that later on. So just make sure that, you know, take your time, make sure everything is lining up, everything looks, you know, even. So that measurement that goes from ear to ear, it helps for when you are making frontal units. I'm just going to measure it at 13 inches. Because your frontal units are normally 13x4 or 13x6. So I'm just going to put that, put the half mark right in the middle. Then I'm going to tape it down on each side. I think I have it at the 4-inch mark. I think I normally push it a little bit further to the front, maybe like a 3.5. But that's fine. You can always adjust your closures and move it forward if you need to. So now I'm just going to add tape. Just make sure that this thing is taped down good, flush to the canvas blockhead. Okay, so that's how she's looking. There you go. Okay, so here you can put your logo there. You have a logo sticker, you can stick it there. I didn't have any. I'm actually waiting for mine to come in the mail. So I just grabbed one of my bundle wraps and just placed it there. Just so you can see, you know, just brand your stuff. Okay. So after that, I'm going to grab one of these little plastic bags. I found these on Amazon. I'm going to try to find a link and I'll leave it in the description box. And then I'm going to just take this heating gun and I'm going to shrink wrap the bag onto the cap. I'm going to just cut off those little tabs there just so it doesn't give me a harsh line in those corners. And this is just going to protect my head from further damage because it's already looking, you know, like it's been through something. So this will further protect it, especially, excuse me, I am sick. I know you guys can hear that. Especially when you're coloring, bleaching or anything like that, you can, you know, it'll protect your heads and keep them clean. Just gonna cut off that excess at the bottom, and that's it for that. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to transferring my measurements for my client. So I have a extra large mesh dome cap. So of course my cap is going to start right where my ruler starts there, because that's where my wig starts. That's our first measurements that we did. Now I'm going to go back here to the nape. And my client is a 13.5, so I'm going to pin that right in the 13.5 mark. And then I'm going to do the nape area. And I believe she was the same size as the ruler, which is a 5-inch. So I'm just going to pin that down at each end. And just make sure that that's lined up. The tip of the temple is max. She is a 15.5. So my measuring tape goes to a 16-inch. So I want to pull my cap back a little bit and make sure that this is going to be 15.5 inches. And you want to pull back on each side, not just one side. So pull it back a little bit on each side. I'm going to use another measuring tape just to make sure that that is measuring at 15.5, and it's exactly 15.5. Okay, so I just want to make sure that my wig cap is in place, that it's not going to move. I like to pin those pieces up in the front. You've probably seen me do that before. You don't have to. I like to just get a gauge of, especially when I'm placing my closures. It's just, I think it gives it a more realistic shape in the front for, you know, a head. And I'm just checking it just to make sure that everything is lining up. Everything is even. And now I'm going to take care of that excess cap in the back. And I'm going to pull it to the front. So I'm going to pull out to the front and pin it down, and then I'm going to take my needle and thread and sew it like I normally do. You want to sew that down nice and neat. And now I'm going to draw my guidelines. And then I'm going to get ready to sew the bundles onto this cap because everything is ready. It's resized to my client's head. And the measurements are good. And I'm just going to go in and sew the bundles on. And then that's going to be pretty much it for this video. So I'm going to give you guys a little tip here that as I'm sewing, I'm patting the back just so I want to draw attention to the back of the unit here. You want to make sure that your wig is flat to the machine. So if your wig is puffed up in the back and is not laying down, make sure that that wig is laying down. Take your hand, go under the wig, and just flatten it out. You don't want the wig puffed up as you're sewing. That could aid in you getting your tracks laying flat and not rippling up. So if your tracks are rippling up and they're not laying flat, try to pay attention to make sure, if you're following like the other advice that I gave you in like my how to make a wig video. No, it's not how to make a wig, I'm sorry, it's let's make a wig video. I showed you some pointers in that video on how to get your tracks to lay flat. I don't think I showed you or told you guys to make sure that the back of your wig is laying flat, but that is very important. You want to make sure that the back of your wig is always laying flat. You see, like when you see me making my wigs, the back of my wig is never bunched up and in the machine. It's always flat. Okay, so this wig is done, and then the rest of the video I'm just going to show you a little bit of me bleaching the front of the wig. My client wanted a green patch in the front, and that's what we did. So I'm going to bleach the patch in the front. And then I'm going to add an Adore Color Electric Lime. And then of course I'm going to add pictures at the end so you guys can see how the unit came out. My client absolutely loved this unit. She was very happy with it. And I do have another video that I'm going to post this week that I was supposed to post last week, but I have been sick and I didn't get a chance to post it. So you guys check it out. Look out for that video. And I want to thank you guys for watching as normal, as usual. And until next time, bye-bye.